Let's talk about a Texas gun law that trips a lot of people up. And getting this wrong could be the difference between a small fine and a serious criminal record. So let's get right into it.
You've seen them, right? On the front door of a business, that little no guns sign. But what does it actually mean? Legally, what kind of power does a sticker on a door really have?
Okay, now picture this. You're inside, maybe doing some shopping, and a manager walks up to you. They've noticed you're carrying, and they ask you to leave. What you do in that exact moment is absolutely critical. So it all begins with that sign. This is ground zero. This is where a totally normal day can take a hard left turn into a huge legal headache if you don't know the rules. Let's be super clear about the situation we're talking about. This law kicks in when you're on private property that's otherwise open to everybody, but the owner just doesn't want guns there. The only reason you're not welcome is because you're armed. All right, let's pull back the curtain on the actual law here. It's Texas Penal Code 30.05. I know, it sounds super official and complicated, but don't worry, we're going to break it down into 4 simple things the state has to prove. For you to get hit with the most serious charge here, the prosecutor has to check all 4 of these boxes. 1, you were there. 2, you had what the law calls notice. 3, and listen up because this is the big one, someone had to personally tell you to get out. And 4, you didn't.
So what the heck is notice? Well, it can be a bunch of things. Someone telling you, a specific type of sign, or even just a fence. And get this, in Texas, purple paint marks on trees or posts can count as a legal notice. No joke.
And that brings us to the moment of truth. This is the fork in the road. The single choice you make right here determines literally everything that happens next. So the manager comes over and says something just like this. This is it. This is that personal notice we were talking about. And now you have a very, very clear choice to make. You've got 2 paths, and they could not be more different. Path 1, you just leave. The whole thing is over in seconds. Path 2, you argue. You stand your ground. You refuse to leave. And things get serious, fast. So let's really dig into what those 2 choices mean for you. Because we're not talking about a small difference in outcome. We are talking about the difference between a simple ticket and a permanent criminal record. All right, first up, this smart choice. The manager says you gotta go, and you immediately say, no problem, turn around and walk right out. What happens? At the absolute worst, you're looking at a Class C misdemeanor. The max fine is just $200. Think of it like a traffic ticket. No jail time, and it doesn't stay in your record. You just move on with your life. But what if you don't leave? What if you decide to make a stand and argue your rights in that moment? Well, this is where you take a small problem and turn it into a life-changing one. By refusing to leave, you've just escalated this whole thing to a Class A misdemeanor. And the maximum penalty for that? 1 full year in county jail. And on top of facing a year behind bars, the fine also skyrockets. It goes from a couple $100s all the way up to a staggering $4,000. So let's just put it side by side. Look at this. You leave, it's a $200 fine max. You stay, you're facing a year in jail and a $4,000 fine. The choice is pretty obvious, isn't it? Okay, so after everything we've talked about, if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. This is the only rule that truly matters. If the owner, the manager, an employee, anyone in charge tells you to leave their property, you leave. It doesn't matter if the sign is wrong. It doesn't matter if you feel you're right. You just leave, period. Look, knowing this law isn't just about guns. It's about protecting yourself, your freedom, your money, and your clean record can all hinge on a simple choice you make and a 5-second conversation. Remember, in that moment, all the power is in your hands. Making the right choice, the choice to just walk away, is how you stop a simple mistake from becoming a permanent mark you have to carry forever. And if you or someone you know is already dealing with a criminal record and needs a fresh start, you need a plan. Go to LegalGangster.com to get your 10-step guide to erase your Harris County criminal record. The guide is not free.